Welcome to Switching On Electrified Skills, the podcast that sparks your curiosity and ignites your passion for a career in electrification. I'm Deepak Farmer. Join me on this electrifying adventure where I connect you with industry leaders, visionary education providers, and pioneers driving the electric revolution. Discover the world of skills, jobs, and community, gaining actionable insights, inspiring stories, and the latest developments. Today we're joined by Dragica, Chief Engineer at Ricardo and winner of a prestigious award. Congratulations on that for the Best Woman at Electrical Mechanical Engineering. And at the moment is going to be joining us to share a wealth of information and knowledge from the point of view of Ricardo and her experiences. Welcome, Dragica.
Hello, Deepak. Thank you.
So, Dragica, let's start with your career. What's your journey been up until now? I mean, you're the chief engineer at Ricardo. That's a very, very obviously important job and a very important thing to have achieved. What's your journey been like so far?
I have had a really exciting journey throughout my engineering career. So starting with my electrical degree, I was lucky enough to proceed from my first degree into PhD studies. And straight from there, I started working in industry. And my career has taken me through a really wide range of companies. I started working for a large worldwide corporation, and then that proceeded on through types of companies that were startups, that were then engineering consultancies, which is where I am today. They have also taken me through a wide range of industries. So I worked mainly in automotive. A few of my companies were, most of them were in automotive industry, but I have also worked in industrial automation. So I can say that after this many years, I've had a really exciting and fruitful career working for a really wide range of exciting companies and industries.
Excellent. So take me back to your younger years. Obviously, something made you want to go into this field, into PEMD, into electrification, engineering, and your journey has been diverse. But at the moment, what was it that made you want to come into this? What is a young Dragica thinking at the time of her teenage years when she's making decisions about what she's going to do? What was that like for you?
Yes, that was a very interesting period in my life. Being a teenager, obviously, there are so many thoughts going through one's mind. But I did spend a lot of time thinking about how I'm going to spend my working life. And because at high school, during my teenage years, I attended courses in science, specifically in physics. So I was already oriented towards a scientific career. And when thinking about which degree to choose, I was obviously led by my passion for science. And that was one side of the decision-making process. But the other part was pragmatic side. So the pragmatic side of me was involved in that decision-making as well. And I was interested in careers that would enable me to have a stable job or be able to find jobs throughout my working life. So I spent a lot of time talking about this to people who were around me. And I was lucky enough to be supported by my family, by my parents, specifically my father, who encouraged me then to go into electrical engineering. Electrical engineering was seen as a very, and it still is today, a very challenging degree, a degree that requires a lot of time and commitment. And where I was at my point in life back then, I was very interested to succeed and to give it my best, give it my all. So electrical engineering was a natural solution for me. And then choosing out of various subjects within electrical engineering, again, it was a pragmatic decision that I wanted to make. So electric drives were up and coming area back then, and people were telling me, yeah, why not do a PMD? you will be able to find jobs, and you will be able to focus on your career. And that's exactly what I did. And now looking back, I have to say they were right, and I'm glad that I've listened.
Well, of course, you've reached such an important part in your career, chief engineer at Ricardo. Let's have a little talk about, Ricardo itself, what they do, and also what your role as chief engineering is there. What do you do there?
So Ricardo is a company that specializes as an engineering consultant. In that sense, we work on projects to assist and help our clients in reaching their milestones and helping them on their design and development journey. And we specialize in many industries. Obviously, traditionally Ricardo, and here when I say Ricardo, I will be focusing on the group that I work for, which is automotive and industrial. Also traditionally a business that worked within automotive industry. And then in recent times, as electrification is now picking up, other parts of the industries are coming into play, and we are approaching and are becoming involved in working in these other areas, such as aerospace, that is adopting the electrification strategies, as well as marine, for example. And a chief engineer at Ricardo, which is my role, has a very important role to provide technical and thought leadership to the project and to the team of engineers who are there to together as a team deliver to the customer.
Excellent. And you said something important there, which I wanted to pick up on, that you work in the automotive space, but however, because of the agenda around electrification and the cross-cutting technologies being applicable in many different sectors, you're seeing a sort of movement in terms of what aerospace is doing and engaging with aerospace companies, and then obviously I assume there will be other industries that you'll be working with as well. Why do you think that is the case? And it hasn't really happened before, because automotive tended to be automotive in the vertical, right? You had aerospace in the vertical, but yet now I'm seeing it a lot in terms of a cross collaboration, sort of a multidisciplinary approach to electrification. Why do you think that is?
It is simply because industry is moving away from the traditional ways of propulsion and adopting electrical propulsion. And we see that not just in automotive, but industries that are traditionally associated with engine propulsion, such as aerospace, are there to quickly adopt the new trends and bring themselves closer to becoming greener and be there on their way to net zero strategies.
And in your role in recent years, tell me about some of the exciting projects that you've been working on, things that have really made you feel like, I've done that, right? Something that you can talk about that, we can share with our viewers, right, around some of the projects you've been working on currently or have been.
One of the beautiful things of being an engineer is that the projects that you're working on as an engineer are all very exciting because they all require your problem-solving skills and your creativity fully deployed. It requires you to be focused. So I can say that I enjoyed all the projects that I worked on. It's once you become a parent and you have more than one child, you realize the comparison is similar to that. You love all your children, you love all your projects. But perhaps the one that resonates most with the external audience would be when I was working on a novel traction machine, which would take me back from maybe 15 years ago, where electric traction machines were up and coming, and they're just being developed for the types of electric vehicles that we see today on the roads. So designing that electric machine, traction machine, was probably the highlight of my career.
Wow, that's really exciting. And when you do that sort of project, you're obviously driven by the outcome, the achievement, like you said, the the sort of opening up of your creativity and your engineering skills, putting them all together. As engineers, you use such a multidisciplinary, skill set, right, to try to achieve your goals. But from a chief, someone that's leading the space, you also need a team under you, a team with the right level of skills, the right kind of, mindset as yourself, and the multidisciplinary approach. How has that been for you over the last couple of years? And I say last couple of years because there is a transition happening. How have your teams looked like, and what challenges have you faced in terms of, trying to get a team to work with you in the same way to see a product come into, a commercial setting or into a implemented setting? What does that look like for you? What do your teams look like?
This is a very important aspect of an engineering career, engineering life, the teamwork, and nothing happens without the team. All engineering projects are a teamwork, and putting a team together to deliver a project for the customer requires a lot of attention. Attention to firstly understand the specific requirements for the project and the specific requirements and needs of the customer, and then matching those to the skill set and to the resources that you've got available internally. And in that sense, putting a team together is almost a deal breaker, and putting the right set of skills together is absolutely essential to the success of an engineering project. And when understanding how the team is put together, obviously skills that particular engineers bring into the team are important, but more importantly is enabling the people, the engineers, to work together in a harmonious way, to talk to each other, providing the platform for regular meetings, regular exchanges of findings, of experiences, of conclusions. And once the harmony is established, once the engineers are comfortable with each other and are able to exchange their findings, their results, the project just flows easily.
So that you can make good progress, and that's what you want. You want to make progress at pace. And that is absolutely, you're right. It's ingrained into the team, right? And making sure the team can work. I like when you said, harmoniously, because, that is, you can have lots of different skills, but they don't fit together. Then actually all you're doing is not adding any value to the time being spent. So I think that's a really good point. But over the last, few years, how has Ricardo adjusted in terms of its, recruitment processes and bringing people together with the right skill set? Because as you know, at the moment, we are all pretty much on the same consensus that skills within this space are rare, right? And some of them are still emerging. How is Ricardo adjusting to that?
That's another very interesting point. And I would say that this is a continuous process. It is a matter of continually adjusting to the changing needs of the market, changing needs for the customer. And what we're seeing in recent years with these advances of electrification products and increasing demand for electrification products, we are seeing a huge demand for engineers who specialize in electrification domains: electrical engineers, electronics engineers, power electronics engineers, electrical integration, electrical architecture engineers. And there is a big gap. We need more of them. So we are relying on the good work that people like yourself and ERS Hub are doing to provide a platform within which all PMD topics and related topics will be summarized, and people who are interested in the domain will be able to come together and find new courses, retrain, or join jobs that they may already be suitable for. And coming back to Ricardo, equally, we are in constant demand for these skills to deliver our projects for the customer. There is something very specific to an engineering electrification project. In addition to designing an electrical aspect of a product, there is an integration aspect of it. So whatever you design on paper, on CAD, will have to be made at some point into a tangible product. And that step between a CAD, between a drawing, between a schematics, to how it is actually done and made is fulfilled by our mechanical engineers. So an engineer who has a mechanical engineer who has a good appreciation of an electrical aspect is absolutely essential part of this electrification journey. And Ricardo traditionally employs mechanical engineers. However, they do need to be complemented by the work of electrical engineers. So again, we're coming back to working harmoniously together, exchanging views, exchanging experiences, and Ricardo is there to provide that platform for these skills needed for our product.
Excellent. With regards to employing traditionally mechanical engineers, it's such an important part of what you said there, that mechanical engineers have a certain type of skill set that is very, very useful in the electrification world. But I guess, being an engineer myself, we choose the path we're going to go on for a particular reason. So somewhere along the line, I chose automotive engineering, and I went down the, mechanical route because I didn't want to go down the electrification route. But now we're in a situation or a world where those two things are needed together. How do people feel, right, when you talk to them about these sort of things, and how our audiences might feel if they are mechanical engineers who chose mechanical for a reason, and now are looking to try to be more understanding electrical components, understanding the electrification side of it? How are they feeling in Ricardo at the moment, your engineers? Do they feel like, yes, let's do this, right? Or do they feel like, this is not really what I wanted to do? So how does that feel for them?
Oh, Ricardo is a very special place, and it's special in terms of that the work ethics is very high, and I'm sure my colleagues at Ricardo will support me in saying this. There is no project, and there's no product that Ricardo engineers cannot deliver and design. So there's a great enthusiasm, and the boundaries imposed by maybe a mechanical engineering degree are just invisible once we start working on projects. We deploy ourselves fully. We understand what the need is, what the requirements are, and then just go away and find a solution. Albeit within electrical domain, mechanical domain, it doesn't matter. We are just motivated by success.
So that's a very engineering mindset, isn't it? It really, to an engineer, it's not that I'm in this field or this field. It's how do I solve that problem, right? And what do I need to do to solve that problem? Which I think is an amazing trait, right? That engineers are sort of, it's instilled in their brain in terms of how they're going to, work in the real world. And I guess then the question becomes is that, with some of the skill sets that you mentioned earlier, some of the skills that I think are very valuable, we know that if we are going to really drive, talent to our area or to electrification, that it's not enough in terms of how many thousands of people are currently available to how many thousands we're going to need. There's a huge gap there, which then implies that we need to reach out to wider markets, look at every sort of available resource within the country, regardless of whether it's engineering based, and show them that that there is a career, there are careers here, there are potential to upskill, there's an investment going in from businesses to support them in this. What message would you give to somebody who knows nothing about electrification, only what they see on the street in terms of an EV vehicle, and they're thinking, oh, I would like to engage with this industry, or this is somewhere where I might when I want to work. What would you say to them in terms of trying to get them to really realize that the big scary words like, motor design or power electronics aren't so scary, and they are potentially within their grasp?
So a simple message would be go for it. Obviously, to enter the field of engineering, you would need an engineering degree, mechanical or electrical. And if you are coming from a non-electrical background and wanting to engage in this exciting field of electrification, there is a huge support around you. And this issue of filling the gap, I think we can split almost in two parts. So people who are around us today and want to engage are absolutely free to do so. They can retrain, they can undertake another degree, they can just find a job perhaps as an apprentice. Most important for anyone thinking about it, a career in electrification, is to just apply for a job, apply for a degree, apply for apprenticeship, and just deploy themselves and give it a go. And then the second part in filling in this gap is perhaps relevant to younger ones. So it would be to children and young teenagers who are perhaps thinking about joining the field. And with them, again, most important is to encourage them to do so, to ensure them that by joining the electrification career, they will be working on very exciting projects. They will have a fulfilling days. They will have a career that will take them through life. So most importantly, is just go for it.
Well, I think that is important. I think also role models such as yourself, when our audiences are listening to this, and some of the way that your career has gone and the things that you're doing, it's very inspirational. I mean, winning the the award that you won. Tell us about that and how that felt. You obviously won this award for which I think is very rare, right? For all the achievements that you've achieved. And how did that feel when you were recognized for that?
Oh, thank you. So the award was provided by a trade body, Wise Women in Construction and Engineering, and it's an annual award that this body provides to women who work in the areas of construction and engineering. And Ricardo is associated with this prize and has been for many years, either through providing people who act as judges on the panels, and every now and then nominating their female engineers. And winning this award was personally, on a personal level, it felt really nice to be recognized. Preparing for the award required a lot of work. I summarized basically my career and had to do that in several sentences. So it was quite an undertaking. And then attending interviews was a very unique experience. This award has many categories, and the interview process is undertaken in a day where all the women who were finalists are interviewed in one day. That provided such a unique experience. So I found myself in a room with several hundred women, only women engineers. It is an experience that I don't think I will ever have the opportunity to experience again. And it also allowed me to see how my male colleagues feel, although for them they have the luxury to feel like this every day, purely because of this balance that we have in gender within this profession. So a very unique experience, and I'm terribly grateful to Wise for affording me this.
Well, to be honest, I think even myself, I saw the pictures, and I saw the press, and when we talk about the publicity or the fame that some of these young people are looking for, to be recognized in that way, right, and have that sort of, exposure that you've had, it's been really quite inspirational. I mean, even, someone like, I have a daughter, and, she's 12 years old, and very much into the making and building things. And, she sees that and thinks, wow, but from your perspective, to be in a room, right, full of great inspirational stories and people and women that have done so much for the engineering world, I really think that, you're doing such a great job in terms of trying to let others know that this is a place where they can have that, creativity, that exposure, that adventure, and that, exposure that everybody wants, that fame aspects of it. So firstly, really congratulations on what you've achieved, but not just for the award, but for what it represents and what, what the entire room of women engineers represents. I think that's such an important part to highlight. And, as part of that, a lot of the publicity that went around that and the things that you've been doing that within the sort of press and all the things that I've been reading about, I guess for me, it's not just the young, but also those people that are making decisions now, undergraduates and people that are looking at sort of, higher education or any education that are making decisions. You obviously at Ricardo have a great graduate recruitment program. Tell us a little bit about that and how that sort of, works, and, what people what our viewers might do to engage with that.
So yes, Ricardo has a very vibrant, provides a very vibrant scene and opportunity for graduate engineers through its graduate recruitment program. So this is an annual recruitment program. It's an annual event through which we interview graduates, and they are free to apply on the Ricardo website. It is a 2-year program, and during those 2 years, graduates have the opportunity to move from various Ricardo's departments and experience the types of projects within these departments. And by doing so, they at the end of their program, they pass out as a rounded Ricardo engineers, ready to undertake any projects within Ricardo. And I really mean any electrification or mechanical focused projects, engine or electric machine focused projects.
Brilliant. And they can find these things obviously on like something like the ERS Hub, but where do they go to get that first interaction? So the information's available on your website, I assume, or somewhere in that section. Is that right?
Anyone looking to approach Ricardo, the website is the best place, is the first port of call. This is where they would apply and submit their CVs.
Okay. And what would, I don't know if you're part of that or the recruitment team's part of that or the HR team, but what would you like to see from those many applications that you get through the selection process? What are you looking for in terms of on the CVs or on the application forms or anything like? What are you looking for? What are those things that you want people to focus on that are applying for these things?
So an aspect that we're looking for is in a graduate CV is evidence of somebody who is just able to get on with the job, who is there and has the energy and enthusiasm to just get along with anything that's thrown at them, who sees every task as a challenge that they will rise to and go beyond it. So the evidence for that is really what we're looking for. Not all of us are obviously so out there. There are many people who are able to achieve and overachieve, but might be a little bit shy, especially at that age. So a careful read through a CV is needed to understand who the applicant is. And then complementing the read of the CV with an interview provides us with a full picture of graduates who are really full of enthusiasm for the field.
So it's the attitude. You're looking for that. You're looking for the attitude to shine through in terms of the drive, the passion, and if you've worked obviously with graduates, you've worked with teams. What is one, you may not want to say it, but ultimately, what is that one story or one journey that you remember, right, of somebody? You don't have to name names, but someone that you really felt like went from here A to all the way to Z, right? In terms of Ricardo, apart from yourself, obviously, you've gone, you've had a massive journey. But who else? Is there anyone that you particularly remember in terms of those good news stories that someone has really done something amazing and shown you and surprised you?
I have to say, I've worked with several people throughout my career who went beyond the job that they joined the company to do, and not just at Ricardo, but in my other companies, who went way beyond any expectations. And this is something that in engineering you do see very often, purely because as a profession it provides an individual with the possibility to deploy themselves and come up with something new, to see a new aspect that not necessarily would have been there in the original job description, and then go for it, deliver beyond what was the original expectation. It is a very creative profession, engineering, our profession, and it provides individuals with the means to achieve and go beyond the original expectation. And I have seen that many times.
Seen it many times. And if you wanted to, see more of that, where would you think that the best talent comes from, really? Is it coming from the universities? Is it direct applications? Because there is two methods in which you can, become a engineer. There is the academic route, and then there's the vocational route. Where are you seeing most of your, special candidates who really flourished in the space of engineering? Where are they mainly coming from? Are they coming from the academic route or the vocational route?
I don't think there is a specific that we can say that the balance is towards a degree or apprenticeship, for example. It is really down to the individual and how they feel once they start working, once they enter their engineering career. Apprentices are obviously a very important lifeline into Ricardo. And as we're speaking today, Ricardo is hosting a female apprentice conference for WES, for Women in Engineering Society. It is happening today at Ricardo. It is a free event, free to join. It will be, it's obviously hosted by Ricardo, and it will be fulfilled by many female engineers and apprentices speaking in a panel. And all this is thanks to our female apprentice, Laura Kershaw, from Ricardo, who is the vice chair for the WES on the female apprentice board. So that is a very important route, as well as a degree. And I don't think there is a balanced split from where an amazing individual would come from.
That's really important, because if you are saying that actually it's from both sides and it can be either or, really, which I think is really important for the audience, is that they have a choice. They have a choice that says what fits best for me. And regardless of that choice being made, I will still have the opportunities that the other side may, think. Because sometimes you get this, academic is the right way, but actually it's neither or. It's actually what's right for me, where I'm gonna flourish, and my destination can still lead me to careers as fruitful as yours. But you said that obviously Ricardo is holding a apprenticeship recruitment fair. How often does Ricardo do that?
The graduate recruitment and apprentice recruitment is an annual event.
Do you know numbers in terms of what they're taking on at the moment, or how many engineers that they are currently open positions for?
So that varies from year to year, but it would be in the region of up to, let's say, 20 people, 20 intake.
Okay. And apprenticeships, this is an important thing that somebody said to me the other day, and I don't know where this came from, but they said that apprenticeships are only available to under 25s, right? You have to be 25 years and younger. I don't know where this came from, because actually apprenticeships are available to everyone, right, who wants to take on an apprenticeship. And we have the levy, we have funds that can be used in various different ways. So if we take away from your normal demographic of, say, undergraduates and university students or vocational students of that demographic, there are many people out there who currently, work in various different roles, much mid-aged, middle-aged, are trying to find different careers to engage with. How do you think they should engage with opportunities like an apprenticeship that might be available? Because it's not so easy. You're middle-aged, you've got this impression that if I take an apprenticeship on, I'm going to end up with young kids in the room, right? Yeah. How does somebody of that, demographic engage with this?
So I guess what we're saying here is that it is never too late to engage in an electrification job. But depending on where you are in your life, you will be facing various challenges. So understanding how to enter the position and how to enter the job market, electrification job market, is an individual decision. For somebody who does have family commitments, obviously financial responsibilities might drive the decision towards shorter term retraining. For somebody who does have different types of responsibilities, they might enter the apprenticeship and undertake the apprenticeship route, or simply undertake another degree route. So the routes are open to individuals. All the routes are open at all times, and it is an individual decision on which one to choose.
Okay. And in terms of looking forward, when we look at the things that we do to support people into careers, what do you think that the ecosystem, whether that be from a government perspective or whether that be from, a industry perspective or education perspective, what do you think needs to happen more in the ecosystem to support individuals such as that, right? Because you mentioned about job commitments, family, right? What do you think needs to happen more of, so that we can open or reduce those barriers for them to come and join careers such as, electrification and, in the various fields that we're in?
So first and most important is to make these careers accessible and make them known to the public. So I did come across many people who are very interested to understand what an engineer does, but they simply do not know what an engineer during the day, what our daily tasks are. So popularizing engineering career, and I'm again thinking about electrical or mechanical engineering career, is a very important aspect, and an ecosystem should enable means for people to understand what an engineer does, who an engineer is. And then secondly, it would be a way of providing means for this to become a successful career for those who are thinking of moving into the profession later on in their life, who would not be necessarily be at that point in life during their teenage years, but later on when the financial pressures become very important.
And so let's try and take this forward a little bit and say we're 2 years, 3 years down the line. Firstly, we know that, unless we do something now, that we will continue to have a skills gap. But I think the good work that everybody is doing, the businesses, the hub, we're all working together to try to support people, careers, but ultimately is to make sure that innovation, right, is not somehow, blocked in its progress as a business or an ecosystem or a country even. What do you see happening in the electrification space in the next few years that is going to have a dramatic effect to the ecosystems or the world that we live in now? What's that look like from your perspective, in a couple of years' time? Are we going to be seeing, electrical vehicles everywhere, trains, aeroplanes, the whole vision of a utopian viewpoint? Or are we seeing a growth in research and development, right, over the next few years so that ecosystem, what does that look like from your perspective?
This is a very challenging question, I guess. It is always very difficult to predict future. What I would like to see is definitely more electric vehicles around us, and to enable the growth in electric vehicles. Research and development is absolutely essential to underpin the technologies that will make electric vehicles more affordable, that will enable everybody to join onto the electrification journey. So the two go hand in hand, and research and development is absolutely essential to provide a breakthrough to the new technology.
Excellent. And in that space, if you could have an ideal, situation with regards to skills and talent and people, what would you like to see, not just for Ricardo, but for generally in terms of the ecosystem? What would you like to see happening, right, with regards to the skills gaps and the emerging skills that we need? What would you like to see happening there?
Growth. Simply put, growth. Growth in the number of people, growth in number of young people entering the career and choosing to become engineers. And growth, such a growth can obviously be facilitated by more female entrants into the career. Ricardo is again doing their bit to help in that domain. Again, there is an annual Ricardo Engineering Prize, which is a prize given to a most promising female engineering student. So through this annual event, we interview female engineering students from universities who would have been nominated by their supervisors, by their lecturers and professors. All the finalists have the opportunity to join Ricardo on a year in industry, and the winner is then chosen, and a small monetary award is provided to the winner. So to enable the growth, we just need more people to become engineers.
Yeah, and to summarize, from what I've heard today, we've got creativity, we've got adventure, we've got interesting things, we've got things that we can touch and feel in the world that we create as engineers. You've got fame, right? You've got stories of inspiring people, right? And you have inspiring people. In summary, what's not to like, right? This isn't the type of engineering that was being done in the 1920s, right? This is clinical. This is really, really fruitful in terms of careers. And firstly, I want to thank you for joining us today, and more importantly, sharing your story, but also just for inspiring so many, not just women, inspiring everyone, right, male and female, and supporting our audiences in understanding what more they can do to engage with this. So thank you very much for joining us today, and I hope that you continue to flourish in this space and show so many people, right, what it's really like to be a accomplished engineer.
Thank you, Deepak, for having me. And I have to say as a closing statement that I'm so looking forward to the next decade, to 2 decades, and seeing how our engineering career, how our engineering profession develops. And I'm really looking forward to all these new young people joining the profession and working with them, because that is the most inspiring part of an engineer's career, working with young people.
Thank you for joining me on this electrifying episode of Switching On Electrified Skills podcast. Together, we'll shape a future that is powered by electricity. If you would like to learn more about electrification and explore courses and jobs, please visit ershub.co.uk or connect with us via social media channels. Thank you once again for joining me today. Until next time, keep charging ahead and unleash the full potential of your electrifying skills.